I opened up a ping pong lounge at 21 years old and it's failing. Now, I didn't make this video for pity or so that you guys can help me save it. I'm just making this video as a sort of documentary of businesses that just sometimes don't work out. So basically, back in February of this year, I had an idea that we could create a ping pong lounge so that people could come and play and rent tables and then leave, similar to a bowling alley. But that's just like the general idea of what I had in terms of a business that I wanted to open. I kind of wanted to fill the hole in the market of there's not that many things to do in my area. So what happened was my dad ended up eating at a pizza place near where we live, and next door happened to be a tenant that was moving out of their space. So he went in and talked to them, and he found out that they were moving out and that the rent was going to be about $3,500 a month. So she gave us the contact information to the landlord, and so me and my dad went and talked with him, and he said that he'd be down to let us take over as long as we got approved with zoning and everything. So we had to go to the zoning area of Crown Point, and honestly they told us that we weren't going to be able to open up there unless we argued with the city of Crown Point to let us open there. So we were like, okay, I mean, it's a good spot. It's in a good area. The rent is understandable. We have a court meeting now scheduled for like a month out. So now it's April and there's a week away from our meeting. And they end up just giving us a call saying that we don't have to go to the meeting anymore and that we're just good to open. So, I mean, this was good news on our end. We were kind of happy about that because we didn't have to go and argue our case. So after we had the approval, we got the LLC made. We ended up calling it the Backspin Lounge. So this is actually where we ended up changing the idea of what we wanted it to be. So originally, like I said, we wanted to just have like you come in, you rent it, and you leave. But we wanted to kind of do the opposite of that, actually. We wanted people to come in, pay to get in, and then stay as long as they want, to create this more of like a loungy environment so that people will want to return more frequently with like a group of friends and just use that as like their chill spot. So rather than like rent by the hour, we wanted to just charge a price to get in, which we landed on $15 on the weekends per person to get in, and then $12 on the weekdays to get in, and you can stay as long as you want. That's why I thought it was important to add that lounge in the name so that people kind of represented it with like chilling. So in order to also achieve what I was trying to do with my theme, I hit up my homie Jared, who owns a graphic design business, and he was able to help me cook up some amazing graphics which fit the exact theme and idea of what I was trying to do. So he helped me design the logo. He also helped me design membership business cards that we had made out of stainless steel. And he also designed the artwork that we had painted on the walls that you'll see. So at this point, it's the end of April, and we had already signed our lease saying that our first month's rent was going to be due June 1st. But the landlord said that we couldn't get the keys until he was done with his renovations. So he started on like the end of April, and we actually didn't get our keys till like the middle of May. He actually finished like a little sooner than we thought, which was really good. And so we basically had like 2 weeks to kind of prepare our space to get it as close as possible for ready to open, because we were planning on opening up in like the June 1st. That didn't end up happening. We ended up opening up June 12th. In the process of the renovations, we had the walls painted maroon. We had the walls torn down from the previous tenant. We had a wall put up where the bathroom is at so that it wouldn't be so open. And in the meantime of these renovations, we started sourcing all the stuff we were going to need to get ready to open. So we hit up Facebook Marketplace and got things like the couches you'll see, the church pews, the front desk, the coffee tables, and a Monopoly table. So basically stuff like this that's pretty reasonable and cheaper to find online than it would be to kind of buy brand new. We kind of wanted to also add a aesthetic of like the worn look. So not necessarily everything's like super modern and pristine. Obviously, we didn't get anything that was like dirty or messed up or gross or nothing like that. I just mean things that had a little bit of life in them to add to our aesthetic that like we've been open for a while. I kind of wanted that like country club, like opened up in the 1940s till now aesthetic. And moving on to the things that we did buy out of pocket, just brand new, were stuff like the 6 ping pong tables at $100 a piece. And to get an idea of how much we spent from the day we had the idea till the day we were about to open, we spent around $10,000 in equipment and furniture, $3,500 for the first month's rent, $3,000 for outdoor signs, $3,000 for hand-painted artwork that we had on the walls, and probably another $1,000 in things that were unaccounted for, and probably another $1,000 in miscellaneous expenses that we didn't really know were going to happen until we needed them, like the internet. So basically, in total, to get started, we spent around $22,000 from the day we had an idea till the day we were opening. So because it was already the middle of May when we were pretty much handed over the keys and got all the things that you see that we bought in place, we basically did that all in 2 weeks. So now it's probably around June 10th, June 11th, and we're like, you know what, let's just open. So at this point, I really hadn't done much marketing. I had made some videos on the way to promote it, like of our renovations till the day we opened. I was making videos, not a lot of them, but I was making some. So there at least was some awareness that we were open, and we also had some business cards and flyers passed out to also help our grand opening day. But we didn't really do like heavy marketing. We were just so focused on trying to get up and running because we were already running behind, and first month's rent we already had paid. So because of that, we kind of just opened abruptly, and we really didn't have a good turnout on our first day. Like we did, but it was mainly friends and family, which I'm like really grateful for them coming out and showing support. But I mean, in terms of a business, we didn't really get anyone outside of people that we knew on the first day. So because of that, I was like, all right, that's kind of scary because I was like, what's tomorrow gonna look like? And I was exactly right. Like, really, no one showed up that very next day. And so that's when I was like, okay, let's really dial in the marketing here. So I basically quickly grabbed my camera, my phone, my mic, just made a bunch of videos and then started running ads on them as well. And so we started running ads, and I do remember like that Saturday we ran ads. That very next following Friday, it was packed. Like here's a video. Like there's just people at like every table, and it's good to see because like these are all people I don't know. And so at that point, I had seen some light at the end of the tunnel. I was actually feeling good because I was like, all right, maybe we could probably turn this around now. Like I won't have to worry about it so much. But that didn't really last long because a few weeks later, then we started dying out again. Like we noticed that like people weren't really coming out anymore. So at this point, I was just trying to keep my mind open for new ideas. And one day I got an Instagram DM from a band that was trying to play at our space. And I didn't really think about hosting bands there. But then I realized I had a stage. So I took my stage that I had, I threw it in there, and I told them yes. We promoted it, and it had a really good turnout. And we had actually 5 bands total that we had play there. Now, the only upsetting thing that came with having these bands was that like nobody really came outside of the people who knew the bands. So basically friends and family would come to watch the band, of course, but we really didn't have anyone come outside that. Like everybody else was just like everybody that came literally just came for that band because they knew that band, not because like they knew Backspin and like, oh cool, look, there's a band coming up, let's go check it out. And we noticed that because like really no one stayed after the band ended. Like literally everyone just left. That's how I knew that there was something wrong or slash missing there. And that's kind of when everything just really started going downhill because we were losing members, and we kind of just noticed that nobody was even coming in on the weekends anymore. And so fast forward to today, we have literally no one coming in there. Like I'm working there for like 8 hours, which isn't a big deal to me. Like I like being there, but I just mean like when you're there for 8 hours just sitting there and you're at a failing business and you're looking at your numbers and no one's coming in, it does like do a lot to you mentally. Just knowing that like everything you put into it, you're not really even matching like an equal cost. Like now it's actually hurting me to just keep it open every single day. Yeah, so like we also had memberships where people would pay $30 a month and they would actually be able to bring a free plus one every single time they came to Backspin. So they would get in free, and whoever they brought would get in free, and they could come as much as they want. And they also got a free admission, them and a friend free admission to any of the events we had, like the bands. So when we started really losing a lot of our members, that's when it kind of clicked to me that our place just wasn't gonna last, because if the people that really liked our place enough to buy a membership were canceling their memberships after a few months, then that kind of was like a big telltale sign to me that like they're finding no value in it anymore. In the beginning, they might have because we were new and we were hot and we were cool, but after them coming in and there's nobody being there, like how can it be a social lounge where you come to meet people and bring your friends if it's always empty? So that was kind of also a drawback because that was like the whole way I was marketing it, was that you'd be able to go there, meet new people, play, bring your friends, socialize. But you get there and it's just empty. You know, we kept pushing. I mean, we kept running ads. We handed out flyers. We passed out business cards. We reached out to schools. I had tournaments, a bunch of them. But that was the only thing that actually was sort of a success, was that we had table tennis tournaments, and we actually did get like 12 to 14 people was like maybe the best that we ever had in terms of numbers for our tournament. And those were pretty consistent actually. Like every time we have a tournament, I could at least guarantee probably like 8 to 10 people at least. Now, we were also giving away $50 to the winner every single time. So when you think about like members getting in free and only a few of those people that were coming were not members, then we really weren't making any money off the tournaments. But we were a table tennis place, and I was like, we got to have tournaments. And there's got to be a prize because there has to be one. Yeah, and then I started advertising the place as a rental space so that people could have parties and private events there. And we didn't really get any bites at that either. I mean, I don't know if our prices were just too high or maybe our name wasn't getting out there enough, but I mean, I ran Facebook ads for a while on just the rental space alone. We tried getting a liquor license. I mean, there were none in our area, so we couldn't just easily get one. We would have to go to an auction and get one, but we don't have the funds to compete in an auction for one because supposedly they go for six figures at least in terms of our area. So another option was to go next door because next door was a pizza place, and literally on the other side of one of our walls was a bar. So we wanted to cut a hole in one of the walls and allow somebody to go over, order a drink, and come back. But that legally wasn't possible. We talked with the owner and he was actually on board. He didn't know if it was legal or not to even be able to do something like that. So he looked into it with his lawyers, and then like a couple weeks later he said that wasn't going to be possible, but he'd at least like help us any way we could, which we were grateful for. But at the end of the day, there was nothing else we could do. So fast forward to today. There's really nothing much we can do anymore at this point to kind of generate a spark. It just seems like our place is either lacking some things, which maybe you guys can see in the comments or let me know what you guys think. And it's eating too much into our pockets to kind of keep open to maybe even think about some new ideas. But I think as it stands, if we can't really significantly change the place in any way, like offering food or drink, then we won't be able to kind of turn it around. Because I really thought that like if we could at least get like alcohol, that we could be able to turn it into like a bar on the weekends, and I would hire DJs, and it would be more of like like a little bar slash club. So like I said, we're at the point where it looks like we're gonna close within the next month or two, just because we have no more money to keep it open. And as fortunate as that might be, I'm really not letting that get too much on me because I feel like I really did give this a good run. I had a lot of people that helped me on the way there too as well. So I'm really not too devastated by it. I'm actually more satisfied with the attempt that I tried to do this, and I'm still young and I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to move on to my next venture, which is video making. So I'm basically just going to center this channel around trying to make money, just finding new methods to make money, testing out people's courses, or seeing if these online gurus are right about like some of the things like day trading, drop shipping. A lot of these things I'm just want to try out, let you guys know, because I kind of want to just make it a little more personal. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned for my next videos. Oh, and check out my shorts.